Adam was the first man with which mankind started its life on earth. Unfortunately, it is also with Adam that sin came into earth. The first Adam, which started life, came from earth. God molded Adam from earth. Uh, Life came, but death also came. But did you know that Jesus is called the second Adam? And in the first reading, St. Paul tells us the last Adam is Jesus. And the last Adam, Jesus, did not come from earth but from heaven and entered the corruptible or the lifeless man when he incarnated. But through his death and resurrection, he brought the corruptible to make it incorruptible. He brought life to death. So just as life started from Adam, but that's the imperfect life, we have Jesus, wherein the new life, the everlasting life begins, and which is why Jesus is the last Adam. But it's beautiful how uh, Saint Paul puts it. Uh, the corruptible became incorruptible with Jesus. The dead became alive. And when you look at the saints, this is exactly what you see. You see, the saints have undergone a lot of adversities. Uh, Paul had a lot of persecution. Saint John was put in jail simply for trying to live the gospel in his life and encouraging others to do so as well. We know that Padre Pio, Saint Pio, experienced the same thing. Um, and yet, the joy of God, you can clearly see in them, in their faces. You know, they're not like partying people. You don't see party faces in them, but you see joy in their eyes. And that is because those people have received the new life that Jesus offers, that Jesus gives to us. And nothing in this world means anything to them anymore except when they are in the perspective of God. Brothers and sisters, a lot of people are sad, a lot of people are dead because of sin. But Jesus raises us from the dead. The problem is a lot of people see salvation as a future event. When the time comes, when we die or at the end of time, is when we will be saved. But the saints teach us, Saint Paul in today's first reading teaches us that salvation starts now, not in the future. Salvation is now. Resurrection from death to life is now. And you don't have to wait for that end of time or your death to happen for you to know whether you are saved, because you will be saved now. But how can we be saved? Jesus teaches us in the gospel for today. It is how we receive the seed, which is the word of God, or God himself, Jesus. Um, if we see it as the word of God, do we study the word? When we attend mass, do we intentionally put earbuds in our ears so that we don't have to hear what we perceive as boring readings and homilies? Do we study the word in our homes? Do we study people who have studied it? Do we try to learn from them? Um, and if we see the seed as Jesus himself, do we receive Jesus? Do we receive him in the Eucharist? Do we put him in our lives? When we do something, do we have Jesus in our minds and in our hearts? Where is Jesus? Where is the Word? Where is the Eucharist? In the Mass, we have those two tables, the table of the Word and the table of the Eucharist. And it is in the Mass that we find the crux of our salvation, the summit of our salvation. As we prepare for this weekend, uh, let us reflect on that. What is the Mass for us, for you, for me? What is the Word? How is the Word integrated in our lives? How is the Eucharist integrated in our lives? If we want to be incorruptible, to have life everlasting, not in the future, but now, what are we doing to receive Jesus properly? How are we making ourselves good soil? You know, you don't have to suffer uh, miserably. You have the choice, and you better make that choice properly. Make the right choice. So receive Jesus and be incorruptible. Receive life.